Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here on another Studio Suite webcast. Today, we're going to be talking about how to access Studio Suite remotely. And for those of you who are new to Studio Suite is a resource management software used by TV, film, music production, broadcasters, and many other creatives. These is related to what we're going to be talking about today, which is how to access Studio Suite on your web browser or on your mobile app. And these are some of the built-in integrations that we have. I love the QuickBooks integration, Slack, and Google Drive are some of my favorite integrations. And so here's a little bit on today's topic, and I have this graph ready for you so you can kind of take a look at the 3 different ways that we can access Studio Suite. Of course, one of them is through our desktop application. The other one is on our web browser and on our mobile application. So what a lot of people will do to access Studio Suite remotely from their homes, or if they want to log into their computer office, they'll log in through their VPN, or you can also have Studio Suite hosted on your AWS cloud, and you can access it from there. So there's a couple of different options for you. But let me go ahead and share my screen, and then I'll give you a quick tour over here of how Studio Suite looks on the web browser. And if you're already a client and you need help with accessing Studio Suite on a web browser, you can always send our tech support team a note. Their email is tech@studiosuite.com, and they'll be more than happy to assist you with that. So tech@studiosuite.com, you can email them and they'll help you set up your system. Okay, so with that being said, let's go and give you a quick tour. So right now we're using the web browser version, as you can tell, and this is what you see when you open up the software. So this is the home screen, and I wanted to highlight just a quick important difference between accessing Studio Suite on a web browser or accessing it on your desktop version. So pretty much the biggest difference, I'll show you right off the bat so we can kind of get this out of the way. Here I'm using our desktop application, and I'll give you an example. So if we go to projects and let's open up this one, live interviews, and if we go to media assets, let's select this asset over here. So on the desktop application, you can create a path to your machine, to your computer, right? So you can access information or sessions from there. So in this example, I can go ahead and open up this Premiere session, and Studio Suite is going to ask me if I want to launch this file. I'll say yes. And here it is. I'm in Premiere, and I can use the application. So I can open up this one and organize it and create a path right here. So this is on the desktop version. And this is just not available in the web browser version because by default, a web browser is not allowed to go and look for files on your computer. So just wanted to make sure that we understood what the main difference is between the desktop and the web browser version. But other than that, the features are pretty much the same. So we got the calendar, we got our communications, contacts, schedules, productions, project modules, we got an invoicing module. So everything else is pretty much just the same. So let's take a look. If we wanted to use also the web request feature or Studio Suite Lite, Studio Suite Lite is a mobile application, and Studio Suite Lite is also accessible via web browser or your mobile device or tablet. So let's pretend that maybe you're using your iPhone. So you can imagine that if you're using Studio Suite Lite, you would be scrolling up and down with your thumb like this. And the Studio Suite Lite is pretty awesome. So for example, if you can take a look at the projects, change the project status, you can take a look at rate cards, who the operator is. You can assign an operator to your session if you want that. So there's a lot of options. Also, if there's any tasks, let me go ahead and open this up. This is where I got the idea. But also on the Studio Suite Lite application, you can take a look at your tasks and you can update your tasks from there. So let's look for tune. There we go. So maybe I was assigned to tune the piano, or maybe I want to take a look and see if Genie tuned the piano. So I can do that. And if I'm Genie and I'm using the mobile application, I can go ahead and update the status. So maybe this one's completed, and then I'll let the Studio Manager know that it's completed. There we go. And if it wasn't assigned, I can assign that to somebody. So let's assign this to Mary Wilson, just as an example. But there we go. And then from here, if this was assigned to Mary and I'm logged in here, I can also change the date or the due time. So that's pretty good for internal communications and collaborating remotely as well. So these are some of the options that we have on our Studio Suite Lite application. And I'll also show this one, which is our web request. So to show you a little bit about how web request works, I'm going to go to our contacts module. And I'm going to look for my example. Okay, here it is. So if you notice over here on the bottom right-hand side, we have this web request ID. So I can change this to whatever I want. So if I want to make this web request ID 159, I can save it as that. And then once I go to my Studio Suite Lite application and I type in that number, 159, then it's going to go ahead and auto-populate my information. And then from here, I can make a web request. So a web request is pretty much just that. If you want to request any resource, or maybe you want to request to work with an engineer, or you want to request Studio A, or you want to reserve an edit bay for a project, anything like that is possible. So all you would have to do now is name your project. So let's say that this is just for a rough cut. And here I want to do a web request for Studio A, and let's see, maybe I also want to work with the Studio Manager. There we go. We'll say which times we're requesting. So let's say we want to do it from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. So there we go. Now when we click on submit, this request has been sent to the Studio Manager. So the Studio Manager would see it over here on the web request module. So here it is. And here's the new one that we just created today. It has today's date. It's come in as a new request. And it's a post-production project. And here's the title that I designated for it, Rough Cut. So now if I'm the Studio Manager, I can go ahead and open that. I see what Julio requested. So he requested Studio A and he requested to work with the Studio Manager. Perfect. And I can go ahead and change the status to accept it if I want to accept it, and then click on process request. Now the person who made the request will get an email notifying them that this request has been approved. And then this will translate into a project with that name. So once you approve that request, it initiates and creates a project from scratch. So those are pretty cool features that you can access remotely on a web browser, either if you're using Studio Suite, the fully featured version, or Studio Suite Lite. Studio Suite Lite just don't give you financial data, and you can't create projects from scratch, and that's by design as well. A lot of people use Studio Suite Lite for their engineers, maybe their runners, some freelancers, and for the studio admin team, most people will then assign them a fully featured seat of Studio Suite. So I hope this was pretty helpful. I wanted to highlight the differences between the desktop version and the web browser version. And I also wanted to show how you can use Studio Suite Lite, or mobile application. You can also access it on your web browser. And again, if you have any questions, or you want to get in touch with somebody to help you access Studio Suite on a web browser, just send a note to our team at tech@studiosuite.com, and they will be more than happy to help you out. So thank you all for watching this. If you have any other questions, you can also send me an email at julio@studiosuite.com. And next webinar that we have is on August 12 at 1 p.m. It's on Wednesday, August 12, and we're going to be talking about a QuickBooks application. So if you can make it, we would love to have you there. So thanks again to you all, and until next time, have a good one.